Do you believe in Sydney?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know about that.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know this beat, it's your girl KylerB coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love Island Game Season 2, Episode 18, or else the Love Island Game Season 2 finale. We have the final four, which is basically the Beige Brigade, plus Isaiah and Lucinda. So everybody's just basically happy that their alliance got to the end. You know, they're basically just like reminiscing about, you know, their time in the villa, these 3 weeks that we basically spent watching them. So yeah, their time in the villa, like what was their favorite part, you know, their alliance really made it to the end. You know, Johnny saying that, you know, after his, you know, duel with Chris, he basically assessed the villa shifted. It definitely did shifted when Chris left, for sure. When Chris and KK left, because they were the power couple, whatever, it definitely shifted. And then that's how the Beige Brigade basically formed. And, you know, they locked in towards the end. And obviously Isaiah picked his side of who does he want to, like, continue on. So moving forward after all of that, you know, they're basically having their last night in the villa. You know, good luck to everybody else. We already know that Isaiah and Lucinda are going to the mega duel. So who the other two couples are. Next day, Ariana comes into the villa. She basically says, like, who the America voted to go into the mega duel. Obviously Justine and Tyrique. I voted for them. Obviously I wanted to see Justine get a three-peat, and then Sydney and Toby got into the mega duel. So that left Johnny and Gabby getting dumped and sent out of the mega duel. But because they're bringing back the jury once again to see, or like basically see the mega duel, they're gonna be, you know, dumped, but they're gonna come back and watch the duel live. So, you know, Johnny, he did all of that, and he still didn't even make it to the finals this time around. You know, he left Andrea high and dry, left her, picked Gabby. I mean, granted, Gabby, you know, obviously seemed like she was very physically fit and everything like that, but, you know, at the end of the day, that's how the cookie crumbles, because in this season we had America voting, and plus it was a live season. So I mean, that's how the cookie crumbles. And the previous season he was on, he got to do whatever he wanted to do. But, you know, it came down to America's vote, and they weren't rocking with Johnny or Gabby, you know, over Toby and Sydney. So there we go. Get to the mega duel. The first part of the mega duel is in 2 parts. So it's going to be 3-way, and the first 2 people to finish the, you know, the situation, you know, the challenge, they get to go head to head against each other. So the duel is basically like a puzzle. It was kind of like, you know, one of those game puzzles where you have to stack, you know, something on top of something. But the thing is that the largest piece that was on the bottom of the first puzzle, you can't stack a bigger piece on a smaller piece. You're gonna have to like navigate. So, and then the largest piece is like heavier. So they had to really scramble, like, okay, like, you know, how do we get this blue piece on the bottom and, like, you know, and try to stack it, because it was just like, okay, we have to keep going back and forth. You're gonna have to keep on putting that small piece on top and then like trying to like navigate through these 3 poles. So Justine and Tyrique, they actually beasted that comp because they were the first ones to get the puzzle, got it right, and then it basically came down to Toby and Sydney and Isaiah and Lucinda. Isaiah and Lucinda actually ended up winning that, so the head-to-head became down to Lucinda and Isaiah and Tyrique and Justine. And, you know, second part of that duel was basically, they're in the duel ring, and they have like a bag of money in the middle, and basically these bags of money like basically are weighted and counted different, you know, numbers, points. The white bags deduct points from their side. So you had 3 minutes to basically, you know, take all the money, try to put it in their side, and then try to remove the white bags from their side and put it into their opponent's side. So basically Justine, she was putting her weight into this challenge. Like, she was really doing it. But Tyrique, he decided to like hold on to the black bag with like Isaiah, and like, I mean, granted, you wanted more points on your side, but the white bags are really like they're like the deal breakers here, because like if you have a bag with the big bag with 6 points that deducts from your side, is like even if you got points on your side, you probably gonna have nothing because that big white bag is on your side. So Justine, she was moving things around, Lucinda was moving things around, but you know, Isaiah and Tyrique were just holding on to this big black bag. They were like, forget the black bag, try to get these white bags onto the other side. So they were really rooting for Tyrique and Justine, because they were like, Justine, let's get that three-peat. That's gonna be history. You're gonna be winning your 3-time Love Island winner. Like, let's get that three-peat. Like, hello? I would have liked to see her get the three-peat. Like, no shade, no tea to the others. I would have definitely liked to see her get the three-peat. So yeah, they were basically fighting it out. Justine was giving her all. I mean, you know, Tyrique, I guess in like the last 60 seconds, he started like moving the white bag. And then at one point, Lucinda almost moved a white bag from their side and tried to put it into her side. And they're like, what are you doing? You're taking the white bag and trying to put it in your side. Like, what are you doing? And then like maybe 20 seconds later, it was like game over. And it was like very close, because they were like, they see all these black bags in Isaiah's side, and then like maybe like Tyrique and Justine have like some bigger black bags, but it's just like, but you still have the white bags in your side. So it's kind of like, what do we do from here? So, you know, Ariana, she tallies up the points, you know, they get the points, get everything. I mean, Isaiah fell out. He was like throwing up, whatever. Justine, she was exhausted, like, because she really was putting more of her weight in it. So it comes down to it, 14 points to 10 points. And the people with the 14 points were Isaiah and Lucinda. So they ended up winning Love Island Game Season 2, which is just like, whoa, like, wow. It came down to them winning for real. Which, those were not my winner picks. Like, no shade. But, I mean, I guess the Beige Brigade not winning, you know, I mean, it's good for me. I just would rather it would not have been Lucinda. No shade, no tea. I mean, Isaiah, sure, whatever. But I really wouldn't rather it have been Lucinda. Like, no shade. Anyway, they won, and then Ariana does this thing like, okay, whether you want to split the money, are you here for love, are you here for money, like, was it, you know, which is it? So they write on the board whether they're here for money or love, and, you know, whether they want to split it or not. So then the last piece of this whole situation is that the jury, or basically the former contestants, they were there watching everything, all that. I think the only two people who weren't there were Charlie and Chris. And I think maybe somebody else, but it was like 17 people in that ring. So including like Toby and Sydney and Justine and Tyrique. Basically the choice of whether they want to stand behind Lucinda for the money or they want to stand behind, you know, Isaiah for the money. So basically everybody stood behind Isaiah except for KK, Nicola, Marvin, Andrea, and Gabby. Lucinda only had 5 people standing behind her while 12 people stood behind Isaiah. Like, that should tell you something. Like, hello, like, you kind of rub people the wrong way. Because Kendall, he was your bestie, and he I guess he got tired of you, and the way you treated Garvey, like, yeah, they got tired of you too. But anyhow, you know, moving along, you know, Isaiah ultimately had the $250K. He decided that he was obviously going to split the money, because obviously, I mean, he was very much coupled up with Lucinda. Like, that was his girl after he switched from Nicola. So it is what it is. I mean, obviously, she was here for love too, because it's just like, she was kind of like oblivious to the fact that this is a game at the end of the day. But I mean, it worked out in her favor, because she ends up going home with $125K, you know, for being in a couple with Isaiah. So they both got $125K each. They both won the games, and, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. This was the end of Love Island Game Season 2. I would say, you know, this season being live, we had the option to vote and stuff like that. I feel like we should go back to the pre-recorded. The pre-recorded was fun. It was fun. It was great. It was a nice time. Like this live situation, this live vote, I mean, yeah, it made people vulnerable that didn't need to be vulnerable. Because, I mean, at times, you could just let it, like, go about it with a duel. You know, some people didn't get a chance to duel. Like Tyrique, he didn't get a chance to duel. Or, you know, he avoided being dueled or whatever. And he only had that one fight, which was the first part of the challenge. And in the other part of the challenge, what I feel like costed Justine her game. A lot of people wanted to say, like, you know, Josh not really, you know, coupling up with Justine and going back to Andrea costed him his game because, you know, on After Sun, you know, him and Andrea are basically like friends for now. You know, she just got out of her serious relationship, so she doesn't want a serial date. I mean, there's rumors that she was still with her boyfriend, you know, and that's the reason why they're not gonna see each other. But they both live in Miami, so, you know, whether they wanna, you know, be friends and then see where things happen, whatever. But, you know, he doesn't really get Andrea at the end of the day. So he lost the money and he's just friends with Andrea. So, like, it is what it is. Kendall and Garby, I mean, they would like to see where things go. I mean, but Garby, she does live in Belgium. She lives a whole nother country, let alone continent away from Kendall. And obviously, after seeing him on Love Beyond the Villa, you know, obviously the fact that he lives in LA and, you know, it was a whole hassle for him to like drive out to a different part of California to meet up with the girl. I mean, granted, he didn't have as much of a spark with the girl as he has with Garby, but we'll have to see where that goes because, you know, he is saying that they're going to talk about how they can, you know, be together on the outside of this. We'll see how that goes. We'll see now that the show is over with. And things like that. But other than that, that's basically the season Love Island Games season 2. You know, these 3 weeks was something. I think we should go back to our roots. I mean, these were not my winners, but you know what? It is what it is. I mean, if it wasn't Garby, then it was Justine. And at the end of the day, I guess it ended up being Lucinda and Isaiah. But anyway, guys, this is my Love Island Games Season 2 review. And if you guys like the video, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns. You haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. And thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.